Hey, and welcome to Matt and Jess TV. I am Matt Rose.
And I'm Jessica Bun Bun.
Welcome to our review of Love is Blind, Season 8, Episodes 7 through 9. These are the episodes that dropped today on Netflix. We have gone to Honduras and we have gone back to Minnesota. I said this in the review of the first 6 episodes. I've never seen the show before, so I don't know how a lot of the format really works, but I just find it very funny, this idea of, oh, we're going to go to Honduras, this random country, and then we're going to send you guys back to this place I associate with being frigid and cold most of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen all of them. So for me, it makes more sense where it's like you're in the pods, all you have are each other's voices, you're getting to know each other. So that's fine. You're getting to know each other's souls. And then the next step is you are getting to know each other more physically face to face, where you get some of the weirdness out.
Yeah.
Because you are getting engaged to somebody that you've never seen, right?
Yeah.
You're just getting to know them. And then even when you have that first meeting where the doors open, it's always so weird and awkward. This just gives people a chance to actually really settle down with each other, get to know each other a little more physically, get to see the rest of the cast, all get to have a good time before you get back into the reality, which is David's friends in here stirring the pot and kicking Lauren down.
I came out of these 3 episodes being really frustrated at a number of people. I'm frustrated at some of the guys, not all of the guys, but I'm frustrated at some of them. I'm frustrated by a lot of these people who are not supposed to even be main characters on this show, including Dave's friends and whatever the world is going on with some of them. Like, I am still rooting for some of these couples. I believe in love. I believe that some of these people can actually make it there. I also have to say, this sock thing, kill it with fire. Do whatever you need to do. This is the most disgusting thing that I can possibly imagine. I have never been so happy to have really big feet. I have to buy separate socks from everybody else, and nobody gets to use my socks because they don't fit them, and I'm not using anybody else's socks either. Get rid of the socks.
No, it's really weird. I don't understand it at all. Like, why are you doing this? It just doesn't make any sense.
No.
Like, I understand, a sister might take out another sister's jacket or something like that, but when you're starting to get into socks and underwear and undergarment, like, I don't understand it. Why is this happening?
Yeah, I'm not a germaphobe, I promise, but it's just like
I am. I don't want germs. I want somebody else's sticky feet on my feet.
Yeah, that's the thing.
No, thank you.
Feet. It's okay. All right,
I'm still having like such a connection with Monica anyways, though. Like, I don't have a sock bin by any means, but she sleeps with a sound machine. Me too. Like, I don't have just rainy sounds. It's like jungle sounds. If I don't have it, I can't sleep. I have to take it wherever. I've got knickknacks all over the place. I completely understand, and whoever's gonna be with me has to be okay with the fact that I have tchotchkes all over the house. Like, it's just the way it is. Even her laundry hamper that she pulled out, I'm like, same. I have the exact same one from IKEA. I had it for years. It's just, the communal sock bin is a no.
No, but listen, if the sock bin is the worst thing about you, you're doing really well. And
I like her.
Yeah, I like her too. We'll talk more about the people we like, but before we do, be sure to hit that subscribe button because we do have more Love is Blind Season 8 coverage coming. We are also going to be covering a lot of other fun reality TV here, including Survivor and The Amazing Race that are coming up really soon. Also, it is Jess's birthday coming up. We really want to get to 70,000. It would be a wonderful birthday gift for her. And if you would like to help us on that quest, subscribing is a great way to help do it.
Yeah, 70,000 is a really big milestone for us that we're really hoping to get to. I'm turning 50, also a big milestone.
Yes.
So hit that subscribe button. Also follow us on Patreon if you want to help support us further. We are covering over there exclusively The Pit, which is airing on Max, and Prime Target, which is on Apple TV Plus, and it is the only place that you can get those videos. So thank you so much to everyone who is hitting that subscribe button and heading over to our Patreon.
Thank you guys so much.
Okay, since we're on Monica, who I absolutely love, and Joey, who I also really love.
Yes.
I really want to see these two crazy kids make it work. But Monica's sister
Yeah.
needs to take a back seat. Okay, here's my tinfoil hat
All right.
of what's going on.
Okay.
I know Joey was kind of bringing up maybe the idea that her sister has some sisterly jealousy, which happens all the time. Like, no offense to her sister in any which way. It happens. And that maybe she thinks she'd be a bit further along in her own relationship or whatever's going on. That might be it. But my tinfoil hat theory of what it actually is was the conversation that they had with the boyfriend that was there, where it sounds like he was maybe had matched with Monica first, and then it turned into where it was the sister was the better match. And Joey was on and on and on about it, where it's like, oh yeah, you're just playing the long game to get to Monica. Ha, ha, ha. I was like, guy, this is not the joke that you need to be like banging on. You could see that the sister was getting uncomfortable. The boyfriend was trying to like, his way through it. But I'm sure it's been a point of contention in their relationship. It's got a weigh on her sister sometimes where she's just like, this is kind of weird. It's kind of weird. There's a weird background. And I think that Joey just stepped in it. And I think that's what it is.
I think there's a couple of things that are going on here. I think one of them is just that very idea. And Joey seems like a very well-meaning guy and kind of a goofy guy. And he probably just didn't pick up on all those social cues. And that's hard. I'm not somebody who picks up on social cues all the time. So neither. I 100% get that. I don't necessarily think there's sisterly jealousy going on, because I think it's sort of a more multi-dimensional sort of relationship thing where if you're a part of a friend group and somebody in your friend group ends up moving further along in a relationship than perhaps you do and the timing of it's weird or whatever, like it's natural that you feel a little bit insecure about it. Like, I'll give an example. Like, one of my best friends in high school got married when he was like 19 or 20, and like at that time I had only had like one girlfriend in my entire life, and it is that thing where it makes you sit back and be like, oh, well, then what's going on with me? What's happening over here? Why am I not getting to that place? Like, I think there might be a little bit of that going on, but I just think in the end, this is a symptom of the fact that this process moves very, very quickly. I think Monica's sister is probably very, very protective. I think she was probably annoyed about Joey kind of trying to have his fun and trying to make light of this situation, which is all I think it is. And I think there's just these different sort of wires that are crossing. I don't think that this is going to be some sort of big deal. I know they even showed in the preview that like, oh, is Monica more in on this than Joe? I just don't believe that. I think these two match each other's freak really, really well. They're both kind of weird, but in a really endearing way. Like, I want to see them make it.
I absolutely want to see them make it. I like them so much. The thing that made me all in on Joey, like all in, was him talking so openly about his OCD. That is something that a lot of people have. I have it as well, not as bad as him, but it's something that brings a lot of shame to people that do have it, because like he said, something is wrong. You don't know why it's happening. You kind of have an idea that it is triggered when stress comes out with anxiety, which is something I also struggle with, and that it's a way to kind of get some sort of control. His was way out of control. He's talking about he's counting steps and stuff like that. I had never heard of that before. And him being that open, and it being a guy that is that open about it, his struggles with it, what he did to get past it, that he's doing much better now. I love you, Joey. You are great. 10 out of 10. Thank you so much for talking about it so openly and so confidently for other people to talk about it too.
I think it's inspirational. I
love them.
Whatever sort of roadblocks they're going to throw on the show, I at least think that they're just things designed to make us worry, when in reality, we don't have that much to worry about. It's just that when you have a match that seems to be this perfect, and I'm being serious, like I really think this is a perfect match.
They're so good.
There are always going to be concerns like, oh, is this too good to be true? And I'm sure some of that insecurity is going to come out, but I really feel like they're going to get married. They're going to be happy. They're going to make it.
Okay, let's talk about Daniel and Taylor, because that was the big cliffhanger. It was like, oh, did Daniel scope her out and follow her and unfollow her on Instagram? Is such a big deal that it's worth torpedoing a whole relationship over. And as it turns out, he didn't do it. So what a surprise. Like, it felt like. This is just my feeling on it. This is not necessarily what happened. Was it felt like Taylor just wasn't that interested in him when she saw him. Maybe she was thinking back and was like, maybe this happened. Maybe this is a way to kind of get out of it. This is just how I'm thinking about it. This may not be how it is. That this was the way to get out of it. And then when she's going through everything and she sees that he's not there, sorry, but now you're in it. So I can see that she's really trying to see if something is there. I mean, the meetings of their families and stuff, it was so cute. And but I just don't think that these two are going to make it. I do not think that Taylor is into this. I really don't. And that's okay.
Yeah, I'm struggling with it. I will say Love is Blind. What a wet fart ending to your major cliffhanger here, where there's nothing is going on here.
Also, he doesn't wash his hands after he goes to the bathroom. Like, deal breaker. Ew, I'm out. I'm totally out. If Taylor, you want a reason to get out, that is your reason right there.
I had a problem with that. I also had a problem with,
But
I'm not sure if he closed the bathroom before he did the tinkle or not. And it's just like, I don't know if I'm ever going to do that ever, where I'm not going to close the bathroom door before I do any business. That's just me. Maybe that's just a thing for me. I know that's not the same with everybody,
yeah,
but
there's lots of people that for some reason are okay to just be like, yeah, having a tinkle, having a conversation, everything's good.
It's all good.
That's not me either.
No, private space is private for a reason, but I do think that a lot of what's probably was going on here with this Taylor and Daniel situation is that weird sort of deja vu does happen in life sometimes, where you sort of meet somebody or you're somewhere and just like, man, I feel like I've thought this exact thing before. I think I've seen this exact thing before. And maybe it was a way for her to try to get out of this relationship, or maybe it was sort of her legitimately thinking about this because she did see somebody who looked a lot like him, and she's sort of trying to replay it back in her mind. It doesn't seem to be anything now. I mean, I'm happy for Daniel's sake, because I do think that Daniel, other than whatever that supposed crisis could have been, which wasn't anything, I think he comes across as a really nice guy. I think he seems pretty genuine. I think he really wants to
wash your hands.
Yeah, okay, yes, he's got that issue, but
Guy.
I think he really does want to make this relationship work. And I agree with what you're saying, that I think she is trying, because I think
she is.
They do have a really good emotional connection. Like, I legitimately believe that he understands her, I think, in a way that a lot of other relationships haven't. I just don't know if the physical part of it is really there, and I think that's going to be the part that she's struggling with. Is this, okay, you know, I should try to make this work because this person understands me better than anybody I've ever been with, but I still have this issue. Like, I think that if this is a big issue, they won't end up getting married, because I could see her being like, okay, you know what, I've tried, but I can't do this. I can't go to this step.
They have spent their first night playing thumb wrestling. They are not getting married. It's not happening. They're just, that physical connection is not happening there for either Taylor or both of them. I don't believe that they are going to get married at the end of this. And speaking of guys who are dirty, let's talk about Ben.
Okay.
You're going to wash your hair twice a month? So gross. I don't want to hear whatever hairdresser told you to stop washing your hair. I don't know. I'm not into it. I don't even care if it's correct. If you guys are in the comments being like, actually, it's really good for your hair, I don't even care. It's so gross. I don't want oily, dirty hair like that. He wears the same outfit all the time and doesn't do his laundry more than once a month. Dirty, hard pass. I'm not interested.
Okay, see, here's the thing, Ben. See this? I don't have any hair at all. I still wash my hair every day. Like, and maybe that's too much.
Let's go.
I don't know, but it's just like, I am a little bit of a clean freak in that sort of way. I wash my hair every day. You know, I've seen stories in the tabloids or whatever about, oh, this celebrity doesn't shower every day or showers a couple of times. I blocked out who it was, so I don't remember, but I remember seeing it. That's just like, ew, like, who wants to do that? Like, that stuff's obviously a problem with Ben. But to me, the bigger problem is one of the two major crises that came out of this episode is that, okay, so there is somebody from his past who is going on social media and saying X, Y, and Z things that the show didn't really give us all the information on. But
4 years ago,
yeah,
this person is now cropping up because he's on TV to talk crap about him. It's just like, girl, it is 4 years. Like, if you haven't been with him in this long, like, why are you coming up now to talk about him? Because he's getting a little bit of fame? Are you looking for some clout? Like, this isn't it.
okay, and here's where, not to go back into the showering, washing hair conversation, something doesn't smell right about this entire story to me.
Agreed.
I'm putting on the detective hat because obviously we don't know the full story on everything. It's
Not
just
yet.
there's a really major red flag to me in how Ben is talking like he doesn't remember any of this. It's
Yes.
just like, of course how do you not remember? You may not want to remember because you might have done something shady. It doesn't mean that that's, the person that you are right now, but it's just like, if you did something shady, you should just say it, because it seems like Sarah's really into you, and whatever it is, it's something you can probably work past, unless this is something that's still going on today and you're just like being shady about everything.
That's the thing about it. So one of two things are happening here.
Yeah.
Either this girl 4 years ago got wronged by Ben and she's been holding on to it,
Yeah.
where they went out a few times, kissed, didn't hook up 4 years ago, and this girl is holding on to it for 4 years, and
Yeah.
he's going to show up to do TikToks for clout. That's one scenario. And I actually don't think that is what is happening. Girl, you get a pass. I think what's happening is that this relationship or whatever's been going on, I think they have been hooking up. I think that it has been going on for 4 years, that she's like the side girl, that whenever he doesn't have somebody, she's the hookup girl that he's been calling, whatever, something along those lines, where he hasn't been treating her well. He's just been kind of like, yeah, if she's there, we'll hook up. And she might be on the other side being like, man, maybe this will be the time it'll turn into something else. Everybody's been there at one point in their life where they think something is more than it is. And it's an unfortunate thing that we all have to go through. But it feels like as soon as Ben was like, I don't remember, she's from 4 years ago, not letting it go, I was just like, Ben, like, you can't just paint this girl as like, she's crazy. Like, there's got to be something else that's going on.
This is just my major issue with Ben, and I'm not a Ben fan at all. Like, I've made that very, very clear. Like,
Yeah.
I think he's boring, but beyond just that, I just feel like anytime something has come up, because this happened in the pods too, when it came to like social causes and like that sort of thing, he was just really evasive. He didn't want to talk
Yeah.
about it. He was just very much like, oh, it's not something I put a lot of thought into. It just feels like anytime there's something that is uncomfortable or something, or he doesn't want to say his full opinion on it, he just kind of is very, very surface level and just tries to keep things moving. And it feels like this is the same thing. I would be very, very worried if I was Sarah. Well, I at least will say this about Sarah. In this instance, she was like, I'm not going to forget it. Like, she made it very clear that she was not just going to fully sweep this under the
Right.
rug. Like, she's trying, I think, to believe in him, but she seems like somebody who's probably been burned before, and she wants to be careful. You don't want to get married on a show like this if you have like significant doubt, and I get that.
So Lauren gets up in the middle of the night to go pee a million times. Girl, same. Same. And there's nothing wrong with that. I know that it kept coming up for whatever reason. Dave's having some sort of a problem with that, but you'll get past it, Dave. It'll be all right. The thing that Dave is not seemingly getting past, and I understand why, all of his friends, his sister, these people that are in his life that he's known for longer than he's known from Lauren, are telling him that there is this guy who's like, stirring the pot. That's like, oh, we were together right up until she left. It was more serious than she's saying it is. Lauren has no way to really prove that this isn't true. It's just her word against a whole bunch of people because they have mutual friends. And these friends have been closer with David for a lot longer than Lauren has. I mean, we're watching them on the show. They might have been together a week at this point, right?
Yeah.
So it's very difficult. David is in such a difficult spot. Lauren is in a horrible spot. She tried to have her friends come in and be like, yeah, we're here to tell you we've never met this guy. That's how little he
Yeah.
matters. Like, we have met Lauren's serious relationships. This guy doesn't exist. And one of them even tried to DM me to be like, yeah, I'm here to like stir the pot. Let's break up a wedding. Like, he's being very vocal about it.
Yeah.
At that point, I was like, show it. Show it. Show the DM. If you can show the DM to David, that should squash everything at that point. It's here's the guy's name, here is what he said.
Yeah.
That's how you end this situation. That never came up. I don't know why. We'll hopefully revisit that later.
Mm-hmm.
But the minute that Lauren was like, bring in your friends, we need to have this talk. Let's just get it all. Like, I can't keep going on like this where I'm crying all day, I'm crying all night. You don't know what's going on. I understand it. Neither of us know what is going on. Bring in the friends.
Yeah.
And David is like, no. I was like, David, just bring in the friends. Let's have this talk.
Okay, I'm going to play the blame game here because I have a lot of blame that I'm willing to throw out there. I mean, number one, I'm blaming this dude whose name I don't know.
It's his fault entirely.
Yeah, like, he's the biggest jerk in all of this just because there's nothing I'm seeing from Lauren that makes me think that a lot of what he's saying is true. Like, she's coming across as pretty genuine. She's not trying to hide anything. It doesn't feel like she's being evasive. She's not being like, I don't remember. It's like she's being pretty upfront. So,
and she's given details. I feel like she's telling the truth.
Next amount of blame. I'm blaming David's friends who are really irritating me, and also David's sister who's also really irritating me, because it's just like, you guys are not giving her the benefit of the doubt at all in any scenario, and you're flooding Dave's head with a lot of information that's making him very, very tentative. But this is where I'm going to blame Dave probably a little bit more than you are, just because I am pretty annoyed about how he acted to Lauren in front of her friends, where it felt very much like I don't really know if I believe you. And it was just a lot of...
He just met them for the first time right there.
I know. It's just like, but even with Lauren, who's supposed to be his, future wife, it still seems like he is just saying to her, like, I don't know if I believe you. And it's...
Right.
I understand it. It's just, I don't love the way that he's going about it all of the time here, where it feels like he's not willing to give her any of the benefit of the doubt, and it feels like he's just fine to sort of continue to be tentative. It feels like he's putting his friends' feelings into consideration more than he is Lauren's feelings, and that's the part of it that makes me really sad. I just think you should have went along with what she said about, let's bring in all the friends. Let's have the conversation. Let's get everything out in the open right away. I don't know why he is just sort of stalling on these things. Like, I don't know what else you need to see. It feels like he at this point is just like, this is difficult because it's making my life uncomfortable. I don't know if I want that because my life is really, really comfortable. And it's just, it's bothering me. I still hope they find a way to get through it. I'm not being like, oh, they need to break up immediately, but I'm really worried about how Dave is handling a part of this.
I feel like David is handling this about the best way that he can. He has known Lauren for a week. Yes, he's engaged to her. Yes, he's in love with her. But we all have to keep in mind that he has known her for a week.
I know,
and it's not just the friends. I actually think the biggest problem is David's sister. Mm-hmm. He has talked about David's sister like David's sister controls David's life. Everything that David does has to be stamp of approval by his sister. For why? I don't know. We haven't met the sister yet. But the fact that the sister is also involved in this, I think he might have been able to get through the friends, even though he's known them much longer than Lauren. That sister is becoming a problem. And I think that is the reason why he is being as honest with Lauren as he can be. And I appreciate that, where he is saying, I don't know. I don't know what to believe. I've got my friends over here. My sister is in my ear. And then over here I have you, and I love you. And, but I've only known you a week, and your friends who I've met for a minute. David is in a really horrible spot, because I really truly believe that, and I haven't been to his social media, so, if he's really out there being a D-bag, you can let me know in the comments. But I really believe at this point, watching the show, that he wants to change, and he wants this. He is looking for a real connection and real love, And he has been put in this impossible spot at this point where he is being told by his friends he's no longer, his sister who controls everything in his life for whatever reason, that this relationship that Lauren had was right up until the spot that she was going on the show. And Lauren has no, like she said it, I have no way to prove anything different. Like, I have nothing except my word
Yeah.
and the details of the relationship. The fact that my friends haven't even met him. Like the fact that he has said himself, let's break up a wedding. It's just kind of like, what else do you need? It's the sister, David's sister. Stop it.
I will say this just in particular about Lauren. Actually, I'm going to say two things about Lauren. Number one, I just feel like it's really weird and uncharacteristic that she would just be with somebody right before going on the show when she knows the purpose of the show. And it's just like, if you're with this person right before going on the show, you clearly don't care about the show and just be with that person. So I don't fully believe that part of the story.
Yes and no. This is where I would give Lauren a bit of a pass, or anybody a bit of a pass. If you are not serious about somebody and you're trying to see if maybe there's something there, you get contacted by the show, you're like, you know what? I'm just not really sure about this. I really do want to get married, but I'm unsure of this person. You know what? I'm going to do the show. And then things just fizzle out, whatever, it ends. It doesn't really matter because you know that this person isn't the person. So you're going to go onto the show to try to find the person. She did not have a boyfriend and is on the show. That didn't happen. No. So whatever the relationship was with this guy, it just doesn't matter.
No, it really doesn't. It feels like she's fully all in on Dave. Like that's the only thing that matters. Here's the other thing I will say, and I'm going to say this with an apology because I think a lot of you are going to be like me. The moment I say this, you are going to hear Lauren's voice and you are not going to think about anyone else. Just picture her voice or picture listening to her voice. She's Pam Beesly. Everything she says sounds exactly like Jenna Fisher.
And she kind of looks like her too.
She has a little bit of that too, but especially
she's adorable.
The way she says yeah, the way she has short sentences. I'm sorry. It's just she sounds exactly like Pam and I can't unhear it now.
Maybe that's why I love her as much as I do. And I'm like, yeah, you can have a pass. You can be dating somebody right up to the show as long as you've broken up before you've gone on the show. That's fine. Like if you're really looking for love and you're looking for marriage, and I truly believe that she is, and I truly believe that David is, that's fine. If this other guy is not the guy, he's not the guy. If he's out here stirring the pot, that's not Lauren's problem, and it shouldn't be her problem. That's this guy's problem. You were clearly not the one for her, and this is why.
I just, big picture on her, I just don't see anything about her, anything about what she's saying, her personality, that makes me think that she's up to something. Like, no. I really believe in what she's doing. I think she comes across as really, really genuine.
Her pain is very real. And I know, like, I can see it on Dave's face. I almost see, like, when he's looking at her and he's seeing her crying, I can see his heart breaking for her, but for himself, where he's just like, oh my goodness, like I feel like I've met the right person. Yeah. I really want to marry this person. My sister's in my head. My friends are in my head. I can see his heart breaking for her and I see his heart breaking for himself. I hate this.
Yeah, it's not good. I hope they find a way to fix it. I am still rooting for them, but we'll get now to Virginia and Devin, where, okay, I'll say something positive first because I want to be nice. Mm-hmm. I really like the pet pig. The pet pig was adorable. I've always, in the back of my head, always been like, you know what? A pet pig would be pretty fun. I do not have any of the necessary mechanisms to care for said pet pig, but I thought that was fun. I thought it was fun. Devin's family's quirky and interesting, and that was one of the more interesting family things I think I've seen on the show this season.
Virginia, good for you, prenup. You don't know this person. Like, I know that you guys are engaged and you're falling in love and everything that's happening, but you've known them a week. And if you are going to actually be saying I do in 3 weeks or 2 weeks or whatever the process is, I think this whole process is only a month or something like that. Prenup. And I'm not really a person that's a big prenup person myself, but if I'm marrying someone I've only known a month, I feel like it just makes financial sense to do that these days. Like, it doesn't have to be something really crazy, and she was not asking for anything really crazy. Like, it's pretty good for you.
Yeah, I I don't think this relationship's going to work, and I think the
No.
prenup is going to be a big part of the reason why, because we've spent so much time on it. Like I'll say for me, like I don't care. Like if you
I don't
love,
care. I'll sign a
yeah,
prenup. It doesn't matter.
if you love somebody who cares about money, because if you love somebody, the goal is that you're going to stay with them and you're going to be in
Correct.
this marriage, forever. So the prenup just doesn't even matter. It's just something where you want to have a little bit of security. And I would think that, if my partner was coming to me with the prenup, I would be like, okay, this shows that this person's really fiscally responsible. They're
Yes.
thinking a lot about their future. They're not being reckless. Like these are good things. Like this is not negative
Yes.
things. And she wasn't coming to him and being like, oh, I think you suck. I think you're going to take all my money. She wasn't saying any of that.
No, the prenup really depends on what's in it.
Hmm.
What's in it? What is protecting her? What is protecting him?
Yeah.
Like, it's not only about protecting one party, it's about protecting both parties just in case. You don't know. Yes, you don't want to use it, but you also don't want to be in a situation where you don't have it for both parties. I think there's nothing wrong with her asking for this.
No, and it's very well possible that other couples on this show have already done something like this. It's just we're not seeing every single thing that happens with these people. So there might be other prenups out there, and this is the only one that seems to be having some sort of issue on the show.
It mostly feels like there's not enough to talk about these two. I mean, like we're
Yeah.
30 minutes in and we're like, what do we have to talk about? Devin has a pig. It's just kind of like there's not really a lot to talk about them. So I feel like this is their way of giving them the will they, won't they? Oh no, the prenup, which is very common these days. So is that really a deal breaker? I don't know.
I don't know. I'm just worried that it is because of the amount of time that we spent on it, and maybe that is because they're not bringing anything else to the table. Like, I mean, it does seem like they care about each other. It does seem like there is love here. Like, I'm not doubting like any of that. It just also does feel like they have had a lot of surface level conversations, and I haven't seen them go as deep as some other couples on this show have. Like right now, I'll be honest, coming out of these episodes and where we are in the season, the only couple that I'm sitting here and being like 100% they're getting married is Joey and Monica. Like I just feel like that's happening, and I feel like they're going to be together forever, and I love that for you guys. But I'm not confident about anyone else.
No, I'm not confident about anyone else. I was really confident and feeling really good about Dave and Lauren, and I
Yep.
am rooting for them. I
Yeah.
really hope that they find a way to the other side of this. I really wish David would just bring in the friends so that
Yeah.
they can just deal with it, so that he can get some clarity. And I think with David, I wonder if the reason he's not bringing in the friends at this point is, well, one, he probably doesn't want his friends to get hurt, but I
Yeah.
actually wonder if it's just fear that the friends are going to come in and they're going to pull out the truth, and
Yeah.
that the truth is she was with somebody too close to the show and his heart is going to break. I think he's afraid that it's going to be true. And if he doesn't bring the friends, he never has to find out.
I sure that is a component to it, because it does seem like a lot of his relationship pattern has been, and I'm just going to be in these superficial relationships,
Right.
so I don't end up getting hurt on the other side of it. Like I think that's a component. And the only other thing I can think about here, and I literally just thought about this, is it's so easy to forget in the weeds of talking about something like this that it is a TV show, and appearing on a
Yes.
TV show, you're putting your lives out there, and there might be some friends of Dave's just like don't want to be on TV and don't want their names,
Yes.
don't want their faces, and that may be complicating this to another extent, and that's not something we can even see a conversation about on the show.
Yeah, I mean, he's talked about it a little bit about the idea that his sister is not interested in being on the show, and I really think at this point she needs to be. She is such a huge influence in
Yeah.
his life, and is really feels like she just has so much control over what is going on with David that it's
Yeah.
time for us to meet the sister and see what that relationship's all about. Like,
Yeah.
give her a chance to be able to meet Lauren and actually figure out what's going on. She's protective over her brother.
Yeah.
I'm sure, obviously, that's her family, but she hasn't given Lauren a chance to have her side of the story. The only person that has gotten to say anything is this guy that she dated for a minute. And that's not really fair.
No, it's not. And I would understand the sister not wanting to be on the show if
For
it was
sure.
if it was a situation where they're setting up to paint her as this like awful, terrible person. But it's
Of
like,
course.
yeah, But I don't think that's the case. It seems like Dave really loves his sister,
Yes.
and like there's nothing that's going to be bad from that angle that comes with her being on.
Who knows? They didn't paint Monica's sister in the best light, and I don't think that her sister's a bad person at all. I just think that the editing wasn't that nice to
Yeah.
her, and I still think that it was the conversation with Joey and the boyfriend that really just put her in a really bad mindset. If I was there listening to that, I don't think I'd feel that great about it either, to be honest. And it just, yeah, it painted her in this light that wasn't that favorable for no reason.
Yeah, like they're gonna be fine. If something happens, and I sure hope it doesn't, but if something happens with Joey and Monica, like that's not gonna be the thing that ends up being a deal
No.
breaker. But that's where we are coming out of these episodes of Love is Blind season 8. It seems like we're gonna see some other familiar faces from this season on this next little batch of episodes. We
Yeah.
will see who gets married. Who are you rooting for? What do you think of the crises that have been brought up in these episodes? Let us know. Hit that subscribe button. Help us get to 70,000 for Jess's birthday. We would really, really appreciate that. And you can support us further by joining our Patreon. We have that link in the description. We're covering exclusively there The Pit on Max, and then also Prime Target on Apple TV Plus. Thank you guys. We'll see you here next time.